For most of your life, you have probably heard the same financial advice repeated again and again. Save your money. Put it in the bank. Build a savings account. Avoid spending. And one day you will be financially secure. It sounds responsible. It sounds disciplined. It sounds like the safe thing to do. But there is a massive problem with the way most people save money. And that mistake is quietly destroying their financial future without them even realizing it. Saving money is not the problem. Saving money the wrong way is. Because if you are saving money the way most people do, you might actually be getting poorer over time while thinking you are doing the right thing. Let that sink in for a moment. Millions of people work hard every day, carefully saving money, believing they are protecting their future. But the system around them is slowly eroding the value of everything they save. And the reason is something many people do not fully understand: inflation. Inflation is the silent force that reduces the purchasing power of money over time. Prices rise gradually across the economy. Food becomes more expensive, housing costs increase. Transportation, healthcare, education, and everyday goods slowly cost more and more. Meanwhile, the money sitting in a traditional savings account often grows very slowly. Sometimes the interest earned is far lower than the rate at which prices increase. This means that even though the number in your bank account may grow slightly, the real value of that money may actually shrink. Imagine saving money for 10 years only to realize that it buys less than it did when you first started saving. That is not a hypothetical situation. It has been happening in economies around the world for decades. This is the first major mistake people make. They treat saving as the final step instead of the first step. Saving money is important. It creates a financial cushion. It protects you during emergencies and unexpected events. But saving alone is not enough to build wealth. Money that only sits still does not grow. In fact, in an inflationary environment, money that sits still slowly loses its power. The wealthy understand this difference very clearly. They do not view saving as the end goal. They view saving as preparation for investing. Saving creates the fuel. Investing is what actually powers financial growth. Once you understand this, the entire strategy around money begins to change. Instead of asking how much money you can store away, you begin asking how much money you can put to work. This is where many people hesitate. Investing sounds intimidating. Markets move up and down. Headlines talk about crashes and volatility. It can feel risky compared to the perceived safety of keeping money in a bank account. But here is the reality. Avoiding all risk can sometimes be the biggest risk of all. When money never leaves the savings account, it never has the chance to grow faster than inflation. Over long periods of time, this can significantly limit financial progress. The wealthy approach this differently. They understand that calculated risk is part of growth. Instead of avoiding investments entirely, they focus on learning how different assets work. Stocks, businesses, real estate, funds, and other opportunities that have historically grown alongside the economy. These assets represent ownership. Ownership is one of the most powerful concepts in wealth building. When you own part of a company, you benefit when that company grows. When you own productive assets, their value can increase over time while also generating income. That is why so many wealthy individuals emphasize owning assets instead of only holding cash. But there is another mistake people make when saving money. They wait too long to start investing. Many individuals tell themselves they will invest once they have saved a large amount. They imagine that investing only makes sense when they have thousands or tens of thousands available. So they wait. Years pass, and the most powerful financial advantage they could have had slowly disappears. That advantage is time. Time is what allows compounding to work. Compounding happens when investment returns generate additional returns over time. The longer money stays invested, the more opportunities it has to multiply. In the early stages, the progress may look slow, but over many years, the growth begins accelerating. Small amounts invested early can eventually grow into significant sums. But when people delay investing for years while waiting for the perfect moment or a larger starting balance, they lose the most valuable ingredient: time. This is why many financial experts emphasize starting early rather than starting big. Consistency matters more than the initial amount. Even modest investments repeated over long periods can produce powerful results. Now here is another common mistake people make when saving money. They focus entirely on cutting expenses while ignoring income growth. Saving is often framed as a discipline of restriction. Spend less, avoid luxuries, eliminate unnecessary purchases. While controlling expenses is important, it is only one side of the equation. If someone focuses only on cutting spending, there is a limit to how much progress they can make. But income growth has far fewer limits. Learning new skills, improving professional value, starting businesses, or exploring new opportunities can significantly increase earning potential. And when income increases, the ability to invest and build assets increases as well. The wealthy rarely rely on only one strategy. They combine saving, investing, and income growth into a system that works together. Saving creates the foundation. Investing creates growth. Income expansion accelerates the entire process. Another mistake people make when saving money is confusing security with stagnation. Holding some cash is important for emergencies. Financial stability requires a buffer that protects against unexpected events. But when large amounts of money remain idle for years without a clear purpose, the opportunity cost becomes enormous. Opportunity cost refers to the value of opportunities that are missed when money is not used productively. For example, money sitting unused in a low-interest account could have been invested in assets that grow significantly over time. The difference between those two choices may not look dramatic in the short term, but over decades, the gap can become enormous. This is why the wealthy often allocate their money into different categories. Some money remains liquid for emergencies. Some money is invested for long-term growth. Some money is directed toward opportunities such as businesses, innovation, or strategic investments. Each category serves a different purpose. This balanced approach allows them to maintain security while still pursuing growth. There is also a psychological trap that many people fall into when saving money. They feel productive simply by accumulating cash. Watching a savings balance grow can create a sense of accomplishment. It feels like progress. But if that money remains static for years, the long-term results may not match the effort that went into saving it. Wealth building requires money to move into systems that produce value. Businesses generate profits. Investments grow alongside economic expansion. Assets increase in value as demand rises. Cash alone rarely participates in that growth. Now imagine two individuals who both save the same amount of money each year. The first person places all of it in a traditional savings account and leaves it there. The second person keeps a small emergency reserve but invests the rest into diversified assets over many years. At the beginning, their financial situations look almost identical, but as time passes, the difference becomes increasingly visible. The second person benefits from market growth, reinvested returns, and compounding effects. The first person simply accumulates cash that gradually loses purchasing power. This difference is why so many financially successful individuals emphasize financial education. Understanding how money works is one of the most valuable skills anyone can develop. When people learn about investing, markets, and economic systems, they gain the ability to make informed decisions about their money. They stop relying only on outdated advice that may no longer reflect modern financial realities. And that awareness changes everything. Saving money is still important, but saving without a strategy is not enough. Money must eventually transition from storage to growth. Otherwise, it remains trapped in a cycle of stagnation. Now think about your own financial habits for a moment. If most of your money is sitting still, waiting for a future plan that never seems to begin, you may be making the same mistake millions of people make. Not because you lack discipline, but because the traditional advice about saving money rarely explains the full picture. The truth is that money should move through stages. First it is earned, then it is saved for stability, then it is invested for growth, and eventually, those investments begin generating income of their own. That is how wealth is built, not by hiding money away forever, but by allowing it to work, grow, and multiply over time. So the next time someone tells you to simply save money, remember that saving is only the beginning of the journey. If money never leaves the savings account, it never has the chance to become something greater. And the real goal is not just to store money. The real goal is to make money work harder for your future than you ever could on your own.